Lord, forgive us. We have not walked in your ways. Our punishment is unbearable. The blood is too much. The cries are too loud. The pain is too strong. The ones you have placed over us are cruel. They mock us, and they hid our name. Are we a people with no name? Are we a people with no inheritance? Are we a people without a land, without a father? No, that's not your way. 400 years, and they still will not tell us our name. They now call your children black, void of color, void of language, void of understanding. And when our bravest attempt to show us the way, they punish them, humiliate them, and take their bread. Lord, give us strength. Lord, give us strength. Lord, give us strength. All right, y'all, welcome back to the channel. Quick lesson, okay? Let's clear up some of the confusion that was created from the Tucker Carlson and Mike Huckabee interview that happened a few days ago. I've seen a lot of videos. A lot of people are asking questions now, and they are confused on what's going on, okay? I don't consider myself to be a teacher, but I do have some understanding, so I'm going to do the best I can, as quickly as I can, to give you understanding on what's going on. Okay. Now I posted this to my ex just as a way for me to better explain it. Okay. Some of you may be offended by this information. Some of you may disagree, but I ask that you're just patient to get the full understanding. If you have a question, please feel free to comment. All right. Let's get started. All right. So there's been talk all over the media and social media about Khazarians, okay, Idumeans, and Esau and Edom. So we're going to make a long story short. Many people are not aware that Isaac had two sons, ladies and gentlemen. Esau was born first, and then Jacob, okay? Esau became the father of what's known as the Edomites, and Jacob became the father of the Israelites. We'll talk about that later. Now, this is going to be controversial, but it's true, okay? Esau was fair-skinned, and Jacob was not. This is why Esau can blend in with fair-skinned nations, such as the Greeks, Romans, Germans, etc. Jacob can, quote unquote, blend in with dark-skinned nations such as the Cushites, Egyptians, the Hamites, people like that. We're going to kind of show you an example of that later on with Jesus. All right, here we go. So here's Genesis 25 and 24. Okay, this is the birth of Jacob and Esau. All right, we'll start from Genesis 25 and 24. And when her days to be delivered were fulfilled, behold, there were twins in her womb. And the first came out red all over like a hairy garment, and they called his name Esau. Okay. And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them. Okay. So when you read the rest of Genesis 25, you read up a little bit. You guys can pull out your King James Version of the Bible. It says that two nations were in Rebekah's womb. Two nations, okay? Keep that in mind. Two nations. All right, so we're going to go on down here. Esau was a cunning hunter. He had high IQ, but Jacob was a simple man. Esau was fleeing persecution and anti-Semitism and asked his brother Jacob for help. Jacob agreed, but demanded that Esau sell his firstborn birthright. Esau agreed. Esau's name was changed to Edom after this. Let's read that. And the boys grew. And Esau was a cunning hunter, a man of the field, and Jacob was a plain man dwelling in tents. And Isaac loved Jacob because he did eat of his venison, but Rebekah loved Jacob. Here we go. And Jacob sawed pottage, and Esau came from the field, and he was faint Faint means he was weary. Okay. He was at the point of exhaustion. All right. Similar to how, to give you a good example, how when the Jewish people came into Palestine, they were weary from coming from Europe, right? Fleeing from Hitler and persecution. All right. So here's what Esau said. Esau said to Jacob, feed me, I pray thee, with that same red pottage, for I am faint. Therefore was his name called Edom. But here's where Esau received his name changed to Edom. And Jacob said, sell me this day thy birthright. But Jacob said, I'll do it, but you must sell me your birthright. Esau said, behold, I am at the point to die. And what profit shall this birthright do me? So Esau was short-sighted. Okay. He was short-sighted. He wanted to eat now. He didn't have faith that he would live. So he said, yeah, feed me. I don't care about my birthright if I'm going to die. And Jacob said, swear to me this day. And he swore unto him. And he sold his birthright unto Jacob. Then Jacob gave Esau bread and pottage of lentils, and he did eat and drink, and rose up and went his way. Thus Esau despised his birthright. Okay? So Esau sold his firstborn birthright to Jacob, ladies and gentlemen. All right? But long story short, Jacob received the firstborn blessing from his father Isaac. Esau was pissed and vowed to kill his brother. Now you can read in there where Jacob pretended to be Esau in order to get the blessing from his father Isaac. You can read it in there. It's a very interesting story, but we're going to skip that just for the sake of getting this video and getting this lesson out as quickly as possible. All right. So after Jacob received the blessing from his father Isaac, even though he sold his birthright, he was still pissed off about it. And Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing wherewith his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then will I slay my brother Jacob. So Isaac was at the point to die. Okay. So Esau did have enough grace to say, once my father dies, our father dies, I'm going to kill you, Jacob. All right. Now you can read more into the story. Rebecca caught wind. The mother caught wind that Esau wanted to kill Jacob. So she sent him to live with her brother. Many of you guys are familiar with that story, but just so you guys get an understanding of that. So here we go. As a side note, this is just a side note here. There's a lot of talk about Jewish people and their battles with the Muslims or with Ishmael. That's a misnomer, guys. Okay. As a side note, Esau married into Ishmael's bloodline. That's why the Saudis and other quote unquote Arab nations get along so well with modern day Jewish people. For example, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwaitis, and whatnot. True Ishmaelites don't have a beef with Judaism. Islam and Judaism are more closely related and have more in common than what we call Christianity, which is the religion, if we can call it that, that was birthed from Jacob, that was birthed from Israel, that was birthed from Jesus. Okay? So that's a misnomer. And I'm going to show you here why that relationship is strong. Now, these are the generations of Esau, who is Edom. And I'm just going to skip down here. Esau took his wives, and it tells you who he took wives from. And it says here, and Bashemeth, Ishmael's daughter, sister of Nebajoth. So Ishmael married into Esau's bloodline. Edom married an Ishmaelite. Okay. Keep in mind, Ishmael has a quote unquote beef with Isaac because Ishmael was born first to Hagar. Look into that story as well, ladies and gentlemen. This is the truth I'm telling you. All right. Now this is fast forward all the way to the Roman Empire. This is where things get, where the meat of the story kind of comes into full view here. All right. So we fast forward to the Roman Empire, where Herod was given dominion over Judea, a Roman province. Note that Herod was an Idumean, which is the Greek form of Edomite. Idumean and Edomite are the same word. One is just a Greek variation. The other one is the quote unquote Hebrew variation. Okay. So check it out. Keep in mind now, the Edomites, Jacob's brother, had dominion over Judea during the time. Like I said earlier in the story, Esau could blend in with the fair-skinned nations, hence the Romans, the Greeks, and whatnot. Okay? So, some kind of way, They convinced the Roman Caesar to give him province and give him dominion over the Judean priesthood and governor of Judea. So you had Idumeans running around Judea, acting as the priest, the Pharisees, the governors, the tax collectors, all that. They had dominion over Judea. Check it out. Now, when Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea in the days of Herod the king, behold, there came wise men from the east. So Jesus was born during the time frame of Herod's dynasty. Okay. Now, remember when I said that Jacob could blend in with the Hamitic tribes or the darker nations? Here's some context to that. To add context, remember Joseph took Jesus and Mary to Egypt to hide from Herod's wrath. Egypt isn't Africa, guys. It's the land of Ham. Jesus and his family could hide among other dark-skinned nations, similar to Esau's ability to hide amongst white nations. Egypt was conquered by Islam in the 7th century. Hence, the Arabs running around there today, they're a product of Islam conquering Egypt in the 7th, 8th century time frame. So when you see these Egyptians running around here in Egypt today, they're not the original Egyptians who, quote unquote, built the pyramids. All right. That's a fairly new phenomenon. Check it out. And when they departed, behold, the angel of the Lord appeared to Joseph in a dream, saying, arise and take the young child and his mother and flee into Egypt. Okay. If Jesus, Joseph, and Mary were Jewish skin color, why would they flee into Egypt? And be thou there until I bring thee word, for Herod will seek the young child to destroy him. They had an abortion agenda going on in the time of Judea. It says here, Herod slaughters babies. Same thing's going on in America with the abortion agenda, guys. Same thing was going on in Egypt with Moses. They had an abortion agenda to kill the Israelites there. When you hear about stories of abortion here in America, it's the same agenda.
Eugenics was a movement that was born in the United States under hard doctrines of racism with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah in the African-American community in this country, with the intent of eliminating the tribe of Judah, right, to eliminate them. That's why she formed Planned Parenthood, was specifically to kill African-American Black Americans. That's why she did it.
Now let's show you that Herod was of Esau. He was an Idumean. This is the Strong's Concordance. You can go to Strong's Concordance in your Google, find the same information here. Check it out. Herod means heroic, the name of a royal family that flourished among the Jews. They weren't Jews, they were among the Jews in the times of Christ and the apostles. Herod the Great was the son of Antipater, an Idumean. Okay? An Idumean. Herod the Great was the son of Antipater of Idumea, appointed king of Judea by the Roman Senate at the suggestion of Antony and with the consent of Octavian, guys. So you had Edomites in the region running everything. Okay? That's just what's going on. That's what happened. All right. Idumea, the name of a region between southern Palestine and the Arabian Petraea, inhabited by Edom or Esau and his posterity. Look down here. Idumea, of Hebrew origin, Idumea, i.e. Edom. Herod was an Edomite. Herod was Jewish, ladies and gentlemen. Herod was Jewish. Now, we could talk about Khazaria a little bit, but this explains why Jewish culture understands Abrahamic and Mosaic law. Okay, they are Abraham's grandson too. However, they are not the promised seed. Herod and his people held powerful positions in Judea, not unlike today's America, where people are saying, hey, Jewish people have all these powerful positions. It's the same thing. And like I said, we love them. We do not hate them. Okay. All right. But this is just what it is. I'm not going to get into Khazaria now. I do want to show you something here with John the Baptist. Okay. Let's talk about John the Baptist. This is in Matthew 3. Okay. Now, if you know about Matthew 3, John the Baptist was the one who paved the way for Jesus Christ. Okay. Let's go to Matthew 3. Let's go from Matthew 3 and 7 here. Okay. John the Baptist is baptizing around Jerusalem, but when he saw many of the Pharisees, remember, like I said, the Pharisees and the Sadducees were from Herod's crew, Idumeans. But when he saw many of the Pharisees and Sadducees come to his baptism, he said unto them, O generation of vipers, who hath warned you to flee from the wrath to come? Bring forth therefore fruits meet for repentance. And this is what he tells them. And think not to say within yourselves, we have Abraham to our father. For I say unto you that God is able of these stones to raise up children unto Abraham. Edom was in the area exalting themselves, saying that they are from Abraham, which is not a lie. They are, but they're not from Jacob. They are from Edom. More of this lesson to come. If you have questions, if you have doubts, that's fine. I'm not here to prove anything. Proof is an illusion. Okay? Either you see the truth or you don't. I'm going to love you either way. God will be the judge. Every man is a liar. Love you. See you next time.
So tired of these fakes and these phonies and liars and snakes. How much more can I take? They hate Jesus, Hitler, and yay, but love, real Frank. How much more can I take?